Hello guys, today we are in the kitchen and we are going to be making a seafood keto bisque. So I'm going to start with my cauliflower, and you know, I've done a couple of videos about spending money wisely, buying things on sale, stuff like that, and this is one of those things. I went to our local Kroger and I always check the produce markdowns, and this was in there. And whenever I bought it 2 days ago, it really didn't have these brown spots on it like this. But I couldn't get to cooking it 2 days ago, so now I have the time and we have the little brown spots. So what do we do with that? Do we throw it away? Of course not. I mean, that just really is not a problem at all for me. If it's a problem for you, just cut it off. You know, it's only been in recent years, you know, that we have to have all of our food absolutely perfect from a grocery store. If I were to grow this in my garden, which I do have some growing right now, it's not going to be perfect and blemish free. So I don't have a problem paying 99 cents for this one at the grocery store and bringing it home and cutting off any blemishes. And honestly, you shouldn't have a problem with it either. Now, if I was paying full price, I want it to be kind of perfect, because full price right now is crazy. So I'm just going to get a little bit of this off, and then we're going to start cutting this up, and I'll show you what else is going to be going in our seafood bisque. So let's go ahead and start cutting up our cauliflower. Gonna leave that middle part for the chickens and the pigs. Pigs love the fresh produce. And you know, you can use the leaves. There's nothing wrong with that if you want to. So we're just gonna slice this up. Go back and do it this way. It doesn't have to be pretty at all. Doesn't have to be precise. Just like that. And I wasn't going to include this in the video because, after all, we're just cutting up cauliflower. Then I got to thinking, I've run across a lot of people lately that have like come to look at our gardens, just people in general that I talk to that don't know what food looks like whenever it's growing. They don't know what the plant looks like. And they also really don't know how to handle fresh produce. They'll go to the grocery store, and if they want cauliflower that's chopped up, they get a package of cauliflower that's already chopped up, and they pay a lot more for it. So I decided to put this in the video just in case there's someone out there that doesn't know how to cut cauliflower. This is how you do it. It's pretty simple, not much to it. So I'm gonna put this in a bowl and then clean off my station and show you what's next. Here's our ingredients. So we have 1 head of cauliflower. I've got chicken broth that I made. We need like 3 cups, so I'll just use that whole container. We need cream cheese. We need an onion. Here's the other half. I went and picked some fresh thyme from the herb bed. And we need celery. I don't have any fresh, but this is freeze-dried celery. So we're just gonna use that. So I'm gonna go ahead and chop up the onion, chop up the celery, and take the thyme off the stems. And then we're gonna move to the stove. I wanted to show you, I'm just doing a rough chop on the vegetables. You can do them as fine as you want them. The celery, I'm not even going to rehydrate. I'm just chopping the dried celery, freeze-dried celery. it will rehydrate on its own whenever we get this together. And also, you probably need to know what seafood is going to go in here. I have some shrimp that I cooked last night just for this purpose. I made another dish for dinner, and then I cooked the rest of the shrimp to go in here. So you will need seafood for our seafood bisque. So you can choose whatever you like, but I'm going to use shrimp. So just take all the thyme off of the stems. And now we're gonna go start sauteing our vegetables. As you can see, we have moved over to the stove. I'm gonna put this on about medium high. And I just filled my coconut oil container. I buy coconut oil like in a gallon bucket. So I just take it out of there, put it in this container that I keep in the kitchen, and use it as I need to. This is pretty solid. Since I guess the weather's cooling off a little bit, it's more solid than normal. So I'm going to put our onions, our celery, and our thyme in here. I left one of the stems. We don't want to eat that. And I'm going to add the cauliflower. All right. I'm going to put a lid on this and just let this cook for about 15 minutes. We just want to get the onions and cauliflower and everything soft and cooked down. And I'll bring you guys back whenever we get to that point. I just wanted to show you guys real quick. The cauliflower is cooking really well. But because it is almost 1:30 in the afternoon and I haven't eaten today, I just heated up some keto lasagna that is absolutely amazing. This is so good. So this is what I'm having for lunch. This will be dinner. Hopefully I will have time one day to make this for you guys, because it is just absolutely incredible. Not because I made it, but because it's an amazing recipe and you get just all the flavors. You don't feel like you're on a diet at all when you're eating this. So I'm gonna go eat while this is still cooking, and we'll be back in a minute. Lunch break is over and our cauliflower is cooked. So I'm gonna put it in the blender. See, we had a lot of liquid cook out of that. So once you put the lid on there, you know, it keeps in a lot of that steam and the water will cook out of the cauliflower. But you do need to check on it, stir it. Just make sure that you're not burning it. All right, so we're gonna add in our cream cheese. There we go. And some of our chicken broth, because we need some liquid in here to be able to blend this well. And we're gonna take this over to the blender. Oh, we have this nice and creamy. It looks pretty luscious as is. So even if you don't like seafood, you could leave it out and just have your bisque with no seafood. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and add in the rest of the broth. Stir that up. So that's gonna loosen it a little bit, because that was really, really thick. So we're gonna put it back on the stove and cook it for about 20 minutes on medium low. You want it pretty low. You don't want it boiling or anything like that. And at the very end, we're gonna add our seafood to it. So while this is cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and chop up my, my cooked shrimp and have that ready to go in right at the end. Now, one more thing to consider. You do need to salt and pepper this. Go ahead and use just whatever your family likes, but you do want to get this seasoned as it cooks this last time. I've got all of the shrimp chopped up, and now I'm going to add that to our bisque and just heat it for a few minutes, just long enough to get the shrimp warm. Then we're ready for dinner.